Let me start with current river conditions. River levels are at just a tad over 21 feet right now. Remember, flood stage is 18, 21.03 as of 12 p.m. today. The new crest prediction is 22.7 feet. So what's that? About another 1.75 above the current levels we can expect to see. Now, the good news is that 22.7 is the second prediction reduction from the original forecast to 24.75. So it's headed in the right direction. The other good news is that the top of our flood walls throughout the city of Grand Rapids will be 3.75 feet above the prediction for the crest. The flood walls are holding. They're holding well. There's been no breach in the flood walls, and we expect that the floods will be contained fully within those walls. As always, safety is first priority. I've mentioned that each day, and it can't be restated often enough. The safety of our citizens, the safety of our staff. So if you happen to be in an area that is being evacuated, please comply with the emergency personnel when you're asked to evacuate that area. And then, although there's a temptation to get out and view this flood, view it from a distance, please. Those waters are high and they're fast and they're unpredictable. So stay away from the river's edges and view from a distance. I informed you on Thursday night that 200 residents, or I informed you yesterday that 200 residents were removed Thursday night from the Park Place apartment complex along Plaster Creek. That was an evacuation site. Today I can report that the fire department has evaluated the situation and has deemed that it's safe for those residents to return. The owner-manager has been notified. If you were evacuated from your apartment at the Park Place, you may now safely return to your home. This morning, however, the Grand Rapids firefighters assisted in the evacuation of the Plaza Towers apartments in the Courtyard by Marriott Hotel downtown. The management of the Plaza Towers had requested Consumers Energy to shut down the power due to groundwater in their basement. I want to be clear, very, very clear, this is not a breach in the flood wall. This is water coming up from the hydrological pressure that's exerted coming up out of the ground and flooding their basement, I believe, to the level of 5 feet or more. It's being pumped, but the flood walls in that area are strong and remain intact. I have with me from Consumers Energy Roger Morgenstern and Kate Bergers to respond to any questions you might have of Consumers Energy about power concerns. The wastewater treatment plant, yesterday in our press conference I was very clear that that is a top priority for us in the city, protecting that facility. I can assure you that all the precautions are being taken. We've increased the berm. We're placing the what's called the trap bags around the perimeter, so that in the unlikely event that floodwaters should come over Market Street, that plant is fully protected. We have removed surplus machinery, equipment from the plant to protect it. I want to express my sincere gratitude to all of the volunteers that have been a part of this effort. It's really quite gratifying to see the people at 201 Market Street and 660 Market that have come out, young and old, church groups and Boy Scout troops, neighbors, people coming. I talked to a group this morning, an Amish community that had come in from up in northern Michigan and come down to fill sandbags today. So we're very, very grateful for that. But I want to say that we still need help, and as a matter of fact, they're filling sandbags now, and we're calling for volunteers to come down tomorrow, beginning at 8 a.m. We'll have the staff there and WEMEAC personnel to assist. That is West Michigan Environmental Action Council personnel to assist, but we will be filling sandbags tomorrow and can use as many volunteers as show up. We'll put them to work. Some other notes of thanks and appreciation: the Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Brands Restaurant, the Roasters, Nantucket Bakery, Cisco have all provided food and beverage for volunteers as they've been working hard at our various sites. The GLUC Company, as I pronounced it correctly, GLUC Company, that is one of the facilities that's experiencing some flooding, groundwater flooding, has also been very helpful in working with us and providing us with some equipment to battle the floods. Road closures, just a reminder that that you should go to www.update.grcity.us for the latest road closures. We've been able to open several of those roads that were previously closed, have now been reopened, and that's good news. And just as an aside here, the fact that the river levels are coming up, is a function of the fact that there's a whole bunch of water coming off the watershed into the Grand River from farther upstream that still has to pass through the city of Grand Rapids. But with no rain today and no rain predicted for tomorrow, or Monday, thank you. This is just Saturday, isn't it? With no rain predicted for the next 3 days, then we should see additional mitigation of the problem throughout the city, the neighborhood problem. In other words, we're not continuing to add to the stormwater system. So that stormwater system can have a chance to clear and surface water move into the system out of the flooded areas and be taken away. Having said that, however, I want to read this declaration of a state of emergency that I'm issuing effective 1 o'clock today. On Wednesday, April 17th, and continuing thereafter, flooding has occurred on public and private property and within local streets and rights-of-way at a variety of locations within the city of Grand Rapids, Michigan. This flooding has occurred due to heavy rains and the hydrological pressure of the water flowing through the Grand River watershed, including the Grand River as it flows through the city of Grand Rapids. This has resulted in the accumulation of excess water on public and private property and within local streets and rights-of-way, and those areas and associated infrastructure have sustained or may sustain significant damage. City officials remain confident in the height and structural integrity of the flood walls within the city of Grand Rapids. The flood walls are serving to protect property along the Grand River. However, waters from the Grand River appear to be migrating underground due to hydrological pressures and may cause further damage to property and infrastructure until the waters of the Grand River recede. City of Grand Rapids officials are greatly concerned that significant property damage, injury, and losses may be sustained through flooding on public and private property and within local streets and rights-of-way. Therefore, in accordance with Section 10 of Act 90, Public Acts of 1976 as amended, being Michigan Compiled Law 30-410, Parens 2, as Mayor of Grand Rapids and Chief Executive Official as defined within the Michigan Compiled Laws, I hereby declare a state of emergency for the City of Grand Rapids because of the occurrence or threat of widespread or severe damage, injury, or loss of life or property from a natural cause exists. As provided by Michigan state law, the state of emergency shall continue for not more than 7 days unless continued or renewed by the Grand Rapids City Commission. There's a legitimate question, I think, of what has happened that would, from yesterday, when I confidently stood before you and said that that we were not declaring a state of emergency. First, we have significant groundwater entering downtown buildings. All three hotels on the east side of the river are experiencing flooding in their basements. There is concern about the water and electricity, I understand, don't mix very well.
Not very well.
And so there's concern about the electrical infrastructure in those buildings in downtown. There's a safety threat. There is, with the new information we've received from the Michigan Department of Transportation and from CSX Railroad, we remain concerned about the hydrological effect on our cities or the bridges within the city, including the railroad trestle, which we expect, even with the downward revision of crest, that trestle will go underwater, at least to the extent of its lower girders. And then as we look at the forecast for rain, there is rain forecasted for Tuesday through Friday of this week. The largest rain event day predicted at 3/4 of an inch, lesser amounts predicted for the other days, but enough additional rain on top of saturated soils that we are concerned about it. What does it mean to declare a state of emergency? Well, it doesn't mean free money. We know that. It doesn't mean that you automatically get a check from the federal or the state government, nor do you get access to low-interest loans from higher orders of government. What it means is that we that we put ourselves in line should we need it for if a disaster occurs, that we would be eligible for state and potentially even federal funding. I can honestly say that at this stage we think that's not going to be necessary. It's not likely. As a matter of fact, the state of Michigan has no appropriation in its budget for this kind of emergency relief. And so it would take an extraordinary act by the state legislature and governor to accomplish that. But I do remain confident that we are handling and we can handle the current situation. You know, I've got to say that it's been most heartwarming for me to watch the way the staff of the city of Grand Rapids has engaged around this crisis. I've spent many hours now with our senior emergency operations team and the Emergency Operations Center, planning, reacting, responding to changes as they come up, thinking of things that need to be addressed. And that senior level staff has been extraordinary in their creativity and their willingness to work virtually around the clock to make sure that the citizens of this city and the assets of the city are protected. But it's not just the senior staff, it goes all the way through the entire workforce. We had people out this morning working with those volunteers filling sandbags. We've got teams that are going out on their own time, putting sandbags out at vulnerable places. These are great employees of your city of Grand Rapids, and you can be proud of them, even as I am proud of them. A couple of other brief announcements. The state police, using their helicopter, are completing what's called a situation awareness assessment all the way from Ionia out to Lake Michigan. They will continue to fly over and give us information as it occurs. So that's been very helpful for us. I want to thank the state police for that. I want to give thanks to West Michigan Environmental Action Council for their over and above efforts to organize these volunteer efforts. They've been great. Their staff too have been working around the clock to make sure that we have the volunteers that we need when we need them. The emergency shelters, still same 3 locations I gave yesterday: Kentwood Activity Center, Alpine Baptist Church, and First Baptist Church in Lowell. Just a reminder that the Red Cross asks evacuees to bring whatever you may need: pillows, stuffed animals, medications, that sort of thing, personal hygiene items, change of clothes when you come to the shelter. Due to high waters, Riverside Park is still closed to all pedestrian traffic. However, I was out there this morning and saw a number of people walking along the edge of the river, viewing. Please stay out of the park. It is dangerous. There are currents that are literally running right up through the center of the park, and we need to be cautious. The safety issues, once again, if it's an emergency, you should call 911 immediately. Sewer maintenance for manholes or stormwater. If you observe a dangerous situation where a manhole perhaps is washed out, or a storm grate, sewer grate has been undercut and washed away, please call immediately our sewer maintenance department at 456-3246. That's 456-3246. And for flooded streets, call 456-3232. 456-3232. I know that consumers would want me to remind you as well that if you're being evacuated from your home, if you're leaving your home due to the flooding, be sure to turn off all electricity at the box before you leave your home.